Welcome to Unapologetically in Power. I'm Jennifer Damascus, and this is the space where we talk about identity, power, and what it actually takes to live and lead without performing for approval. Think of this as a room you step into once a week to take that armor off, a place where we name the patterns we've been praised for and gently question whether they're still serving us. Today, I want to explore a question that tends to land a little deeper than most. Who are you when you're not performing? Not producing? Not proving? Not holding everything together? Just you. Performance doesn't always look dramatic. Most of the time, it's subtle. It's being on even when you're tired. It's reading the room before you speak. It's adjusting your tone, your energy, or your opinions to fit what's expected. It's being capable, composed, reliable. And if you've been rewarded for that, professionally, socially, emotionally, it can start to feel like who you are, not something you're doing. But performance isn't authenticity, it's adaptation. And adaptation at one point was necessary. For many high-achieving women, performance starts early. You learn what gets praise, what gets approval, what keeps things smooth, what earns safety. You learn how to be impressive, agreeable, responsible, or strong depending on what your environment rewards. And over time, that role gets internalized. You stop asking, what do I actually feel? And start asking, what's expected of me now? Psychologist Dan McAdams, who studies narrative identity, describes identity as the story we tell ourselves about who we are. When certain roles are repeatedly rewarded, they quietly become part of that story. And eventually, the role stops feeling like a role. It feels like your personality. But here's the important distinction most people never stop to examine. A role can be adaptive without being essential, useful without being your essence. From the nervous system perspective, performance is not a flaw. It's a regulation strategy. When your system senses uncertainty or relational risks, it starts scanning for cues. What's safe? What's rewarded? What maintains connection? Performance becomes a way to stabilize the environment. Research in stress and regulation, including work by Bruce McEwen on allostatic load, shows that when the body perceives ongoing interpersonal or evaluative pressure, it shifts towards vigilance and self-monitoring. So in simple terms, your system learns that doing well keeps things predictable. So it adopts strategies like being competent, being pleasant, being useful, being impressive. Not to manipulate, to regulate. Your body learns, if I perform, I'm okay. And that makes sense. It's adaptation, not pathology. But like all adaptations, it can outlive its usefulness. And here's where things start to get heavy. When performance becomes your primary way of relating to the world, it subtly crowds out other experiences. You might notice discomfort when you're not productive, anxiety when there's nothing to manage, rest feels undeserved, a sense of fading when you're not needed. Difficulty naming what you actually want. This is not laziness or lack of gratitude. It's what happens when identity becomes fused with output. Research in self-determination theory that was developed by Edward Deci and Richard Ryan shows that humans need three things to thrive: autonomy, competence, and connection. When competence becomes the dominant way you secure belonging, autonomy and authenticity often shrink. So you can look successful and still feel absent from your own life. That is not failure. That is misalignment. Performance quietly asks one ongoing question: how am I being perceived right now? And over time, that question drowns out a more essential one: how do I actually feel? Because when performance leads, rest feels unproductive, stillness feels uncomfortable, uncertainty feels threatening, presence feels inefficient. Again, you stay functional but disconnected, capable but constricted, impressive but tired in a way rest does not quite fix. And this is why so many high-functioning people describe a vague emptiness or restlessness, even when things look good from the outside. It's not ingratitude. It's a nervous system that's been running on output instead of alignment. So here's the reframe I want to offer you. You are not your output. You are not your usefulness. You are not your consistency. Those may be expressions of you. They are not the source of you. Identity is not something you earn. It's something you inhabit. And when you begin loosening the grip of performance, something subtle but powerful happens. You start noticing what actually feels true, not just what looks right. You respond instead of managing. You choose instead of compensating. This isn't about doing less, it's about doing from a truer place. So let me ask you a few questions. Who are you when no one needs anything from you? Who are you when there's nothing to prove? What parts of you only surface when the pressure drops? What might it be like to let those parts have more space? Again, you don't have to answer out loud, just notice what comes up. No fixing, no forcing, just awareness. See, this is the heart of identity work. Not optimization, not self-improvement, integration. It's letting the performing self rest without erasing it. Letting the capable self soften without disappearing. Letting the real self exist alongside competence. That's where sustainable power lives. Not in effort, in alignment. And before we close, I want to say this clearly. If performance helped you stay safe, successful, or seen, there is nothing wrong with you for learning that strategy. It did its job. But you don't have to keep earning your right to exist through output. Let me say that again. You do not have to keep earning your right to exist through output. You are allowed to rest inside yourself. You are allowed to show up without a script. You are allowed to be real before you're impressive. If this conversation opens something for you, I've created a gentle tool called the Identity Audit. It helps you see which patterns are currently organizing your choices and where there might be space for something more aligned. You'll find it linked in the show notes whenever you're ready. No pressure, it's just an invitation. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you next week here on Unapologetically in Power.